As we look to take the CO2 complex and design an MMV plan, can you walk me through some of the key elements and considerations that you recommend to folks who are looking to develop carbon storage sites?
I'd like to address first the inputs that go into building that initial or conceptual MMV plan. We've got a site that's been selected through a screening and ranking process. We then go through a site characterization, and as we then start to run different scenarios, we'll build an injection plan, a field development strategy. And that's the most critical input to the MMV plan, because that tells us what we're going to monitor in the subsurface. But then there's other really key components to this, right? So we need to understand what the potential risks are that are associated with the complex. So we'll go through a whole risk assessment process. Absolute criticality is, of course, the regulatory compliance, and then of course the economics piece is the other part that goes into that. So those are the things that go into that box we call MMV plan, and that's our starting point. The other piece I would mention is this is very much an evergreen, living piece, right? It's something that will last throughout the entirety of the project lifecycle and into the post-injection process as well.
When it comes to the variety of projects we see globally, I would imagine that we have site-specific sets of risks and regulations. Can you share some of your experience with the different approaches you've seen across the world?
We deal with so many different environments across different geographies with those different regulations. One day we might be looking at, saline aquifer. The following day it could be a depleted oil and gas reservoir. We look at different reservoir types, sandstones, carbonates, even basalts. It gives this whole sort of variety, but then you have to have a very clear systematic process for sort of dealing with that, right? When we think about not only those elements, the subsurface pieces, but we also have to take into account those regulatory pieces. So for EPA, for example, focus on protection of underground sources of drinking water. Seismicity is very important. In the EU, you also have like a credit mechanism where importers into the EU, what we call the carbon border adjustment mechanisms, have to demonstrate that they're decarbonizing their products to be able to get reductions on tariffs or whatever that apply to that. So we're dealing with these different pieces. It's just about having a process that walks us all the way through that.